What I'm trying to say, Andy, is it can be done. We can put out ridiculous campaigns, and if we get it right, there will be people following them and supporting them. They're there. We just need to tap into these people who are absolutely off their trolleys. And welcome to episode 3 of the Inane Campaign podcast. I'm Mark Rowe, and together with my good friend Andy Gleeks, we are going in search of the most bizarre, weird, wonderful, and frankly hilarious petitions that are doing the rounds online. Once we've done that, we're going to use what we've learned to put together our own inane campaigns and go head to head, fighting to get as much support as we possibly can from anyone and everyone who might just take an interest. Hello, Andy. How are you?
All good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad, man. Not so bad. It's been another testing week, isn't it?
Every week, the grind. Now, got to figure out how to beat each other.
I really thought I was onto something this week and that it was just going to take off. And I have had to fight. Well, I've tried everything to try and get some interest in my campaign. What
I know. I've been watching you. You. Flailing around the internet trying to get some support. I've thoroughly enjoyed this week. It's been good. It's been a good week.
I bet you have. What did you do? What was the secret this week?
I took a bit of advice from you last week, God knows why, and I went deep into Facebook groups. So I was requesting to join like giraffe groups and giraffe lover groups. I very tentatively joined that one. I didn't know what was lying behind that, that group. I know more about 4 giraffes in different zoos around the world than I know about my own children now. So that's been good. Good getting daily updates from the animal kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. And didn't you say to me that you went on Boris Johnson's own Facebook page?
Yeah, you're not allowed to start posts, but you're allowed to comment. So I was going deep into the comment section after about 500 people had their say on Boris's latest pronouncement, and I was going right down to the bottom of those 500 and just sneaking my little petition link in there and going, please sign this funny thing, because then I thought 500 people will get the notification that someone's posted in that. Didn't really work, Mark, if I'm honest.
You look so sad when you say that. It's quite heartbreaking. Anyway, like I said, I thought I had it nailed on this week. I went straight to the top. I went for Twitter rather than Facebook this week. I was making it a campaign about Twitter. The idea was to do a Nobel Prize category for the use of Twitter. So I thought, I'll just go to the top. I'll start from the very beginning. The person who uses Twitter the most is Barack Obama. I'll start with him and work my way through Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, Cristiano Ronaldo. All of them I was putting out tweets to saying, hey, you could win this. This could be you. If we get away with this campaign and we have a Nobel Prize, you could be the winner. Nothing at all. It just...
I can't believe it. I can't believe that playing to these people's egos did not work in any way, shape or form. That's the only reason why people are on Twitter, so that every day they can get a little bit of, balm rubbed into their already massive ego.
The other thing that I tried is asking people who they thought should win the prize. I only got one response to that as well, and they said James Blunt, so I went straight after James Blunt. He didn't go for it either.
No, James Blunt is quite funny on Twitter.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff. Actually, I've seen, you get on Facebook, actually, you get posts put together with all of his best tweets and things like that. He's got some absolute crackers on there. He just doesn't take himself too seriously as well, which really winds up the people that are trying to have a pop at him, which is great.
Yeah, he is. He's very good value. He's definitely well worth a follow. He should win. He should win a Nobel Prize for Twitter. That's a good idea, actually. I'm gonna vote for that. Where's your? Let me have a look and see if I can find your petition.
Well, there's plenty of room on the petition for you to be able to sign it. Put it that way. In fact, I said on the last episode of this that I'd spent 2 days with myself being the only person who had signed my previous campaign. This time, I've spent every day of the campaign up until about 2 hours ago as the only person who had signed my petition. And then I finally crumbled and put, I can't have this, I can't lose to Andy again like this. So I put a post on begging for support, just saying I need to overtake him. And also I thought it would be quite funny because I knew that you thought that you had won and had probably switched off by then. And I thought the old tortoise and the hare could come into play and I could come speeding up right at the end. But no, it wasn't to be. I got one extra supporter, one person, God love him, David Lovesey, decided to support my campaign just out of pity. I don't know if that's in some ways worse. I don't know if it's worse that he gave me the pity signature rather than actually somebody who wanted to support the campaign.
When you put those posts up, I freaked out because I thought, hang on, I could get beaten here because it didn't need a lot of signatures. And I was just panicking going, what do I do? What do I do? So I think I put a post up as very similarly saying on my Facebook, Mark's trying to do this. Please don't let him do this.
Anyway, so what I thought was I'm going to have to reevaluate how I'm going about this and think a little bit more carefully about what kind of campaigns do end up getting support. I just thought people would back things because they're silly and that they're funny, but apparently not. So I've spent a little bit of time on Change again this week looking for some of the best and most bizarre and most interesting campaigns that are out there. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about what I found this week?
Shoot.
This was a nice one. I like this just for its simplicity. This was good. Give worms arms.
Yeah, I like that. Do you mean like guns?
Well, I don't know. That was the title of the campaign, right? So I thought, well, I'll go into it and read the description and get a little bit more information. It says this: I want to give worms arms.
Okay, like again, same question: guns or arms?
Well, yeah, I think arms.
And actually, I've been thinking about it. If worms were to have guns, they would need arms for arms
to operate. So either way,
they need arms.
So that was quite good fun. There was this one as well. This was interesting. Now, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't clear what I was actually looking at when I read this. I misread the title and thought it was going to be something else. All right, but it is this. Create Ruth Bader ginger-flavoured ice cream. She's like an American judge. She's a big name in the legal system. I thought it said, create Ruth Badger ginger-flavoured ice cream. Ruth Badger was a contestant on The Apprentice many years ago and then carved out a bit of a name for herself as a kind of business analyst kind of person on some really low-rent TV shows. And they would do things like saying, this business is struggling, let's send in the Badger. Which...
Send in a badger to a business. I tell you what, productivity levels would go through the roof if people knew that a badger was coming to rip their face off.
Well, anybody who calls themselves the Badger, I think, is deserving of some respect. And probably is deserving of an ice cream flavour being named after them, but not in this case.
It sounds like a bad apprentice task, you know, make a Ruth Badger ice cream. Like Sir Alan rings them up and tells them to meet him at the docks. I've brought you here because ships come in and sometimes those ships contain food. It's also quite cold on ships. That's right, you're making ice cream.
Send in the Badger.
send in, yeah. The Alan Sugar's really small.
Yeah. Well, I get that impression, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I never got that impression. And then one day he was randomly he was in a restaurant that I was in, and everyone was obviously turning around going, there's Alan Sugar, there's Alan Sugar. And I looked round, and he reminded me of one of those Polly Pocket figures that you get, remember that you got in the 80s? that kids would play with. They looked like you could pick them up. You know, Alan Sugar in my pocket.
Well, did you try it?
Well, you know, I didn't think he'd enjoy it, so I just thought I'd let him have his lunch.
But the other thing that occurred to me, right, is naming an ice cream after somebody a suitable tribute to them?
Yeah, I think that's a good tribute. People love ice cream, don't they?
It says this: Ben & Jerry's has named flavours after John Lennon, Willie Nelson and Elton John. Stephen Colbert got his flavour, he's an American chat show host, got his flavour after publicly waging a campaign on The Colbert Show, and their most popular flavour, Cherry Garcia, was suggested by a customer who wanted them to honour Jerry Garcia. There you go. We need to talk to Stephen Colbert about how to run a successful campaign. It's harder than you think, by the way, to come up with names for ice creams that celebrate celebrities. I was looking for famous people called Chip, because it is a name, right?
Yeah.
There are no famous people called Chip whatsoever. I had a little look on the internet. It said the most famous person called Chip is a guy called Chip Kelly, who's a golfer, right? Yeah. But it also has like a fame meter. So the most famous guy called Chip only registered 3 out of 100 on the fame meter.
3 out of 100. And sorry, did you say his name was Chip and he's a golfer?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. That is nominative determinism at its best. We called him Chip and he ended up a golfer. Okay.
Oh, there you go. So I think we can have mint chocolate Chip Kelly. That would be a good...
Good, yeah, that's really going to sell like hotcakes, what with everyone's knowledge of low-rent golfers being massive.
Yeah, I don't think... All right. Robin Vanilla Percy.
Robin
Vanilla Percy.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was confusing. I was going, who's Robin Vanilla Percy? And then I was just like, Robin Van Illa Percy. I just got confused there. Okay, go on. This is good. I'm enjoying this.
I've only got one more. And I'll be honest, I've gone back in time a little bit because this was talking about this woman, and I thought they wanted to recognise a great woman in American history.
Yeah. Jackie
Pistachio Onassis.
That may be the worst thing you've ever said out loud.
You could tell, couldn't you? You could tell I felt bad about saying it beforehand. I had to take a deep breath before even
saying that's this week's campaign, mate. That's this week's campaign. Make Ben & Jerry's create a Jackie Pistachio Onassis ice cream.
Well, should we put it up? Should we put it up anyway? Even if I don't make it the one I'm competing for, should we put it up and see if it gets any
Keep it in your back pocket for when all hope is lost, my friend.
Well, that could be coming very, very soon. There was a couple more because I want to tell you about these. I started to find some more successful ones. This is where it gets interesting, right? Again, there's a whole theme to this with renaming stuff. Rename snakes as danger noodles.
Yeah, I love that. Danger noodles. Yeah. That also sounds like a hipster Asian fusion food joint.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Danger noodles in Hoxton.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It probably exists. I bet that exists.
Have you ever been in Vodka Revs?
Yeah.
You know, have you ever seen the vodkas that you get, and one of them has the chili vodka in it?
Yeah.
You could do that in danger noodles. You could be like, the whole table gets all these noodle dishes, and one of the dishes has got the most insane fiery chilies in it.
I like it.
Danger noodle.
I would go there for that.
Absolutely. And you could, I don't know, you could cut up snake and serve it with the danger noodle as well.
There was some interesting comments on this one. I sincerely hope that neither of these are true, quite honestly. First one says, It's the truth. I would easily give my life to have snakes called this.
Wow, that's a bold claim, and a claim I would like to test, actually.
Oh, yeah. Not as interesting as this one, though. My children were once confused by the word snake. My youngest was bitten and had to be rushed to the hospital where she had her leg amputated. This could have all been avoided if it was called a danger noodle.
That's not, that can't be real.
No, sure.
That cannot be real.
That was there was about 6 renamed snakes as danger noodles that were on there. This was the one that got the most support. It got 1,202 supporters for that. So they are danger noodles. I think we're in full support of that. I'm going to go back and sign that one, actually. Here's the big player. All right, this is the one with the most support that I could find for what is essentially a completely inane campaign. I'll tell you what the campaign is, and you can tell me what you think it might have got in terms of numbers of support.
Okay.
Rename fire ants to spicy boys.
Spicy boys?
Yeah, spicy boys. Sometimes spelled B-O-Y-S, sometimes, and I like this, B-O-I-Z.
Yeah, they're my 2 favourite spellings of boys. I will not allow any other spellings of boys but those 2.
Didn't they, like in the 90s, didn't they call the Liverpool football team like the Spice Boys?
The Spice Boys, yeah, that's right. They had the white suits at the FA Cup final where they got beaten by Manchester United.
Oh, that is some good stato there. Well done for that. I'm impressed. Right, so we're renaming fire ants to spicy boys. The petition has been made to Hillary Clinton and Morgan Freeman. One of the signatures was, I'm signing because I want to be on the right side of history.
Fair.
Yeah, which, is persuasive, if nothing else.
Yeah.
How many signatures did that petition get?
I mean, it's pretty inane. You got to think maybe into the hundreds.
Hundreds of signatures?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 455.
Okay. 160,611 comments.
You what? No way. Absolutely not. I'm not having that. Why?
160,611 signatures, on that. And again, there was more than just that one. That was the top one. That was the one that everybody was backing. And then there was a few other petitions. So if you add those on, you're talking 162,000.
That is just incredible. What is it about those spicy boys?
People are now, I'll tell you what it was. I think I've got a bit of a clue as to why it gained some traction, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable about sharing this, right? Because I then found an update from the person who posted that campaign originally, where it says this. It has come to my attention that our spicy boys are being spread across the Instagram account of the presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. This is hilarious, and I'm proud of our spicy boys and their progress. However, it is also being said that the Spicy Boys movement, I love that, by the way, that it's a whole movement. The Spicy Boys movement is purely to support Donald Trump, which I'd like to clarify, it is not. I love that.
That's the internet for you, isn't it?
I love how they distance themselves from any kind of... Just to be clear, this is only a petition about fire ants. It's absolutely nothing political. What I'm trying to say, Andy, is it can be done. We can put out ridiculous campaigns, and if we get it right, there will be people following them and supporting them. They're there. We just need to tap into these people who are absolutely off their trolleys. What have you found this week?
What have I found this week? All sorts of lovely stuff on change.org. Every week when I'm feeling low, I just get on change.org and put a few random words in, and it is an absolute tonic for your mood, mate. Give ceilings human rights.
What?
It wasn't a long blurb trying to sell it. It just said ceilings are people too, nitwit. you remember last week we had the really bad science?
Yeah.
We've got more of it this week.
Yeah. Ceilings are people too.
You know, if you cut ceilings, do they not bleed?
No.
No, they don't. There's just a big nasty gouge in it, and you'll probably have to get some decorative filler to smooth it all out again.
Yeah, or a plasterer who knows what they're doing.
That's good common sense from the Inane Campaign podcast there. Get yourself a decent plasterer. I know this one is divisive. This one is as divisive as Brexit, I think, Mark.
Okay.
But I can really get on board with this. We need to ban pickles. Pickles are ruining everyone's lives, wiggling their way into lunches and football games.
What?
I mean, what? I don't know about you, but anytime, a football game has came to a random stoppage, it's been because of an overflow of pickles.
Did someone throw pickles onto the pitch or something as some kind of...
Quite possibly, in a vegetable-based protest.
I kind of support that, though. If you are going to throw things onto the pitch at football, which shouldn't really happen, but if you were going to throw anything onto the pitch, surely a pickle is the least damaging thing that you could throw.
It's fairly soft-centered, a pickle, do you know what I mean? It's far easier to take a pickle on the head than a coin, isn't it?
I would have thought so. I mean, I haven't, fortunately, up until now in my life, I haven't had either a coin or a pickle to the head.
Time to change that, Mark. I'll see you tomorrow. You've become my pickle target practice.
I'm really worried about just getting ambushed by you at some point with pickles now.
It goes on. Pickles are the root of all evil.
Are they?
All evil, Mark.
Satan loves the pickle, doesn't he?
Yeah, we're all wasting time looking for Beelzebub and blaming Satan for things. We should have had a chat with a pickle.
I'm starting to think that they're using pickle in place of religious cults or something.
It says, do not allow pickles into your life. It sounds like, maybe Jehovah's Witnesses or something they've got mixed up with. Americans will eat 8.5 pounds of pickles a year, apparently.
They've made some bold statements there, to be honest, with pickles are the root of all evil, pickles are trying to take over the world, but then they just drop in at the end the actual presumably correct fact about how many pickles the average American will eat. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this may be the greatest sentence in history. He put later on, McDonald's casually booby-trapped their burgers with surreptitious pickles. That is just pure poetry, Mark.
I just want to have the opportunity to say surreptitious pickles.
Have a few wines and see if you can say surreptitious pickles.
Oh, so it's a whole drinking game. I love it.
Yeah. What did I say earlier on about the plasterer? Get yourself a decent plasterer and see if he can do with these surreptitious pickles.
Well, I'm guessing every good plasterer loves a pickle.
That's why they've got all those pockets, the plasterers, the painters and decorators. They're hiding all the pickles. The title is just Tie Bono to a Kite. Tie the Bono to a tree, stick him out in Ophelia, he'll feck off, we'll be happier. Who's to say where the wind will take you? Is there much more to it than that? The ficker can't be putting music on my iPhone if he's floating over the Atlantic on a kite now, can he? Look at him with his sunglasses on inside. Look at him, Bono, with his arrogance. Get him on a kite. Get him flew out to sea.
It is a method that I think could be explored for getting rid of lots of problem people, is just tying them to a kite. I like that.
Yeah, although I do worry that it would need to be a hell of a storm to lift somebody up on a kite,
Yeah, well, it's essentially paragliding, isn't it? Which
oh yeah, that's quite nice actually for Bono. That's just quite a nice outing if Bono gets to go paragliding.
Yeah, just give him a day out at the beach. It's like I said, it does sound like quite a lot of fun being flown around on a kite.
Yeah. Well, and that you wouldn't ever. This is terrible, and please forgive me for making this lame pun based on U2's discography. But I suppose you'd have to fly him on a in bad weather, because you couldn't fly Bono on a kite if it was a beautiful day. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
That's staying in so that everybody knows that you actually said that. What have you ruled out this week? What have you decided not to go with?
Okay, what else have we got for you? I was thinking for my own campaign that I might do something about Marcus Rashford, and I thought, do you know what? Let's get Marcus Rashford knighted, and I put that into change. 7 petitions already.
I was thinking along similar lines, but I thought it would be really nice to get a statue made of him.
Absolutely, that's a great shout. Get a statue of Marcus Rashford made. Yeah, that's the campaign right there.
Footballers tend to be quite good, don't they, at getting behind campaign. Maybe that's where we're going wrong. Maybe we need something football-based.
Everybody loves the Premier League. Everybody loves 11 men, 22 men chasing after a ball and kicking it into a net. Yay, hurrah. We need to get footballers involved. I was thinking about rebooting the A-Team, the A-Team from the 80s. I was thinking about rebooting that as a series, but I want Mr. T's character to retrain and go to university, so his character can now be BA Honours Baracus.
I think that's good. Does he have to go back to university? Can't we just give him like an honorary degree? You know how like celebrities and stuff like that just every so often get given degrees, don't they? And all they have to do is rock up and make a speech at the graduation.
Talking about being careful getting on planes and stuff like that.
Well, that's it. No, we would have to be careful about where the university was, or we'd have to give him a glass of milk beforehand and knock him out, and then put him on the plane. The best bit about the A-Team is when they do the bits where they just create like weapons and vehicles out of nothing. Right? They've got a few bits of metal and some drain pipes or something like that, and a couple of wheels, and all of a sudden they've built a tank. Right? But it's the same theory as Blue Peter, isn't it? That's just for younger kids. So younger kids, you get a load of junk, you make Tracy Island. The A-Team, you get a load of junk, you build a tank. And then, when you get too old to watch the A-Team and you become like an old man, Scrap Heap Challenge. Exactly the same theory. So, all they've done is invent one TV programme and just package it different ways for different ages.
That is the ultimate efficiency in television production, my friend. In an age of austerity, and I know that we're made in an age of austerity. Well, they kind of were, because there wasn't a lot of money back then. But that is the ultimate way to maximize the money. Like, you get one idea chucked on your desk, and then you get some interns to brainstorm it in 3 different ways and go, well, this is for the young'uns, this is for the action fans, and this is for old men that are retired.
And have a shed, yeah.
And have a shed. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd like a shed. Have you got a shed? I
have got a shed, but it's a rubbish shed. It's a shed that is just full of junk that you can't even walk in. So you just sort of go and open the door and stand and scratch your head looking a bit confused for a while, and then give up and walk away.
That's no good. You need to tidy it. You need to tidy your shed up, Mark.
I need to get my shed together.
Absolutely. Get your shed together. That's a catchphrase. Write that down. Get your shed together. Get yourself a decent plaster. Get your shed together. Then get your life back on track.
Absolutely.
Watch out for the surreptitious pickles.
All right, shall I tell you some of the ones that I wasn't going to run with? These were ideas. I thought that they had legs, but I'm not convinced that they're winners.
Yeah,
Not that I have any kind of track record of being able to spot what makes a good campaign, but there you go. These are ones that I decided against.
Go on.
Get supermarkets to spread their Christmas songs out over the whole year.
I like that. It's too much, isn't it? It's just too much. It's an onslaught. It feels like you're in a fight with Anthony Joshua for the whole month of December, just constantly getting pounded in your left and right ears.
But I don't want to take away from those people who basically have made a whole living off royalties from their Christmas songs. I don't want to spoil that for them. So I figure you could just drop Christmas songs in various points throughout the year. You'd only need one or two a day. And then over the course of the year, you'd have the same amount being played as in the whole of November, December.
Yeah, it'd be a nice surprise in December when you hear something non-Christmassy, like, if you're just walking through the supermarket and you hear, I don't know, what do they play in the supermarket? We will rock you.
I'm not sure that they are firing out Queen in the middle of the fruit and veg aisle, to be honest.
They're missing a trick.
I tell you what I think would be good is that, just picture one of your nearest and dearest has gone shopping. It's the middle of July. They hear a Christmas song and they think, oh, must get Andy a present. And then they're thinking about what they're going to get for you earlier on rather than having that panic buy and then they get you something absolute rubbish.
That is great. So effectively what you're doing is, do you know the nudge unit?
No, go on.
The government's nudge unit. It's like they're behavioural economists that try and figure out ways to make people's lives better. So they'll nudge economists will do stuff like tell supermarkets to put certain things at certain levels to make them buy. So you put the healthy things at eye level, so they'll buy that, or they'll do stuff like that. So a nudge economist, you're effectively nudging them to make the right decisions and spend the money at the right time so that it prevents chaos in December in the stores. I like that. That's clever.
That's it, you see. But I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that. Not this week, anyway. What else did I have? Oh, ban seagulls from the beach.
Go on. How are you going to manage that, Mark?
Well, I haven't really thought it through, to be honest. I have, I was going to say irrational. I think it's fairly rational hatred of seagulls, to be honest.
No. Who likes seagulls? Nobody likes seagulls. Seagulls are disgusting.
Yeah, and they behave awfully. They're like they behave. When you go to the shops and there's like a gang of teenagers who all just sort of like flock in front of the shops and make a lot of noise and are deliberately there to antagonise people. That to me is seagulls.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. Get shot of them. Get shot of them. Yeah. Just give people some guns or something to shoot at them.
Yeah. Actually, you could probably make quite a good business out of that because there's nothing to do on the beach, is there? You could just have like a shooting alley, almost like a clay pigeon thing, but without clay pigeons and just shooting the seagulls out over the sea.
I mean, you say there's nothing to do at the beach. I was down at the beach before lockdown, and because you don't go to the beach on lockdown because that's not good practice. You should socially distance at all times on lockdown. But I went to the beach before lockdown and I seen Bono paragliding, Mark.
You could sell the opportunity for kids to shoot at Bono while he's flying across the sky. He'd make a killing.
Absolutely. Shoot at seagulls, shoot at Bono. You get different prizes for hitting one or the other.
Here's my last one then that I didn't decide to run with. Although, again, I'm questioning my own decision-making here because I think this one's got a lot to it. Give bees rucksacks.
I love that. Yeah. Why?
Well, because they've got an important job to do. And I just think at the moment that the kind of transportation of pollen is probably quite inefficient. And logistically...
Yeah, it just sort of sticks to them, doesn't it?
Well, it sticks to their legs, I think. But they're sort of hopping from place to place and hoping that they're spreading it as they go. I think if they had a rucksack that they could just load up with pollen and then go take it to where they need to be, drop a little bit, move on. You know where you're at. You can easily keep tabs on how much pollen you've distributed during the day. Basically, these are important workers, aren't they? And you wouldn't ask people to go out to work doing an important job without the correct equipment.
So what are they doing? Just sort of bundling the pollen up and putting it in the bags?
Yeah, well, they've got the rucksack on the back. Maybe they work in teams. I don't know. One's carrying the rucksack, another's piling it in, and then they sort of do each other. I don't know.
B squad.
I haven't really, like I say, it seems
B
to me.
team.
The B team.
B team.
The B team.
Yeah, the B team.
So this episode we've had the A team, and now we've got the B team.
Yeah, we've got the B team. Yeah, we're going through all the alphabet.
I think it's important that if you want a job doing, that you give people the right tools to do it, and Bs are currently being overlooked in that department.
They need the right equipment. They need kind of PPE.
Or BEE.
Okay, BEE. What's that?
I don't know. B efficiency equipment.
I like that. B efficiency equipment. Big enough equipment. Big enough equipment.
There you go. Yeah. So they need the right stuff. So what did you actually go with? What did you decide is going to be your campaign this week?
You know, like you do 120 hours of community service when you do something bad, but not bad enough to go into prison.
Yeah.
Think about all those low rent people that tip the balance and end up in prison for like a month or whatever, or 6 months. Get them out of prison and punish them by making them watch episode after episode of Mrs. Brown's Boys. I want to save the public exchequer money, Mark, because I like good government and I like good economic government that makes the right decisions. I want to keep people out of prison. Well, I'll just read you the blurb.
Yeah, go on, tell me.
Yeah, right, let's go. Our prisons are overcrowded and a drain on public resources. Yet time and time again, people are put in for small amounts of time based on an accumulation of fairly small misdemeanors. Let's stop wasting public money by filling our prisons, which are bursting at the seams. Let's take these small-time crooks and punish them properly. One episode of Mrs. Brown's Boys is enough for people to put down their bag of swag, their stripy jumper, and their face mask. Actually, all right, maybe keep the face mask at the minute, but make sure it covers your nose. A burglar would never again jemmy a window if he knew he had to watch Brendan O'Carroll dress up in drag and mug around that set looking for all the world like a man who never got hugged by his own mother a day in his life. Otherwise, why would he degrade himself in such a way? The humanity, God, the humanity. The people that watched Mrs. Brown's Boys voted for Brexit. Of that, I have no doubt. But criminals have a bit more common sense. One watch of this Clockwork Orange style with the eyes glued open, criminals will be down the job centre, updating their CVs and lining up legitimate day jobs. People say television is chewing gum for the eyes. Well, this chewing gum is stale and it's been got from under the table and someone has wiped in some bogies. No one wants to be subjected to Mrs. Brown's Boys because it's everything that's wrong with the world. Let's use Mrs. Brown's Boys instead to make some things right with the world. Let's fix the lower rungs of our judicial system. Let's leave more space for real prisoners. Let's give them the space to smoke it by making low-rank criminals, Danny Dyer wannabes, your football hooligans, your housebreakers. Let's make them watch the worst sitcom of all time as punishment, Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Nice. Nice. I'll tell you what I like is, at the end of the episode, I haven't watched loads of them, but I have seen a bit of Mrs. Brown's Boys, and at the end they get up and take a bow. I feel like you should be taking the bow over the credits at the moment.
What are they taking a bow for?
Although this might play into your campaign, right? Because don't they? So they record it in front of a live studio audience, which is who they're obviously bowing for. Could you not have the prisoners being sent there, or not, they wouldn't be prisoners, would they? Because this is in place of prison, but they could make up the live audience, thus saving other people from having to experience it.
Well, I do think that some people genuinely quite like it, and some people clearly apply to be in the audience because for some reason, I don't know, maybe they're masochists or something. Again, maybe they were mistreated as children. I don't know why people would go and watch this. But yeah, absolutely. You could just have a lot of people on kind of sat down on chairs with their eyes forced open, and they would have to watch it and just be like,
I also think that there's quite a nice opportunity for a sliding scale then, isn't there, for offences? So, if somebody's just, I don't know, done first time offender, stolen some booze from a shop, maybe they just have to watch 1 or 2 episodes of Mrs. Brown Boys, maybe a Christmas special, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe if you commit a really heinous crime, you have to act in it.
I think that one's going to be divisive, to be honest. I know you said some people. I think there's more people who like it than you think, and you're not going to get those supporting you. But let's be honest, you basically need to convince one other person, and you will you'll probably win.
Just 3. 3's the magic number.
Is that it? Is that what you're going for?
If I get 3 people, I'll beat you.
I've been broken down so badly with, failing to get any kind of support whatsoever that I'm now just really, really going for the cheap kind of vote, playing to people's emotions now and just trying to get them on board just to beat you. There's nothing else in this other than I just want to win. Do you want to hear?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2020 has been pretty terrible by anyone's standards. I can't imagine that there is anyone in the world that hasn't been in some way touched by the environmental atrocities, the global pandemic, or the largest scale civil unrest in living history. If anyone has managed to escape unscathed by these huge global events, then they are surely holed up somewhere far too remote to be listening to this. It's been pretty depressing, and whilst things are looking up, you could be forgiven for wanting to crawl under a blanket and hide there safe and warm until 2021 slides into view. But do we really need to wait? Let's just write off the rest of 2020 and crack straight on with 2021. Be honest, what else have you got planned that you need to get on with this year? They've run out of episodes of EastEnders, nobody's realistically going on holiday, and the most exciting social event in anyone's diary is an appropriately distanced cup of tea in Auntie Barbara's garden. I suppose there is Christmas. We could probably squeeze that in quickly as well. Actually, why not? I've always wondered, what would it be like to have an Australian-style Christmas in the summer? We could just have a go at that. We'll do it next week. On the 25th of June, that will be Christmas Day. A few little prezzies will probably cheer everybody up. What do you really need to make a new year anyway? It's only Jules Holland on the telly, some fireworks on the London Eye, and Big Ben to chime. And I know that Big Ben is supposed to be taking a rest at the minute, but if they could fire it up for Brexit, then they can do it for this as well. We'll get Jules on it. I'm sure he could tap up Stormzy and Ed Sheeran for a bit of Auld Lang Syne. So let's make the end of June the end of this year, and then we can crack straight on with the next one, which I confidently predict is going to be an awesome year. Until recently, 2021 would have been rubbish. It would have been one of those fallow years, like when Glastonbury stopped people from singing in the rain and dancing in their wellies. But all the good stuff that was supposed to happen this year and didn't, like the Euros and the Olympics, all of that is going to happen in 2021. I can't wait. I don't need to wait. Let's not wait.
Yes, mate. Let's not wait. Absolutely. You've got my vote.
There you go.
That'll get you up to 3.
To be honest, I genuinely, at the start of this year, had like I don't know what, I had a really positive feeling about 2020. I was like, this year is going to be great. How wrong I was.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I never make New Year's resolutions because I just know the next year, disappointment's around the corner here, isn't it? So,
but that's what I mean. If we started 2021 now, you would actually stick to all those things because everybody needs that positivity at the moment, don't they? Why would you do all that stuff in the bleak winter months? Why don't we just do it now while it's nice outside and there's sunshine and all of that kind of stuff? I
do like the idea of a barbecue at Christmas. So get Christmas in the summer this year. New Year's in September.
Well, Christmas is going to be next week. No, New Year's is going to be the end.
Oh wow, that's pretty quick. I don't even have time to buy presents.
Yeah,
there were no songs throughout the year for me to know to
that you should have been. Well, you don't know. I don't think you need to buy presents this year. We're just going to do the barbecue bit and the having Christmas dinner
Oh, you cannot disappoint people in COVID year without Christmas presents.
Okay. Well, you've got a week then.
2.
No, because it's got to be the 25th, hasn't it? Like, I was thinking that we're literally halfway through the year, aren't we? So it's a direct opposite of actual Christmas.
Yeah. 25th of June. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so we're going to get these put up onto change.org. We're going to start pushing them this week. Well, who knows what we're going to do to try and push them. Last week I was supposed to put up these live pictures and got fed up with that really quickly. Did you do that?
Yeah, I did, but I don't think it changed my pictures once. I put up 4 pictures. One that was photoshopped, not by me, but had Boris Johnson being picked. Up by a giraffe that I randomly found when I put Boris and giraffe into Google Images, and luckily that Photoshop came up. But I then just put a range of silly photos of Boris Johnson in various kind of shabby states of affairs that made him look ridiculous. I'm pretty sure they never changed the picture once.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll go for that again this week then. So we'll try and do some live pictures that we'll put on and see if we can get that actually working and see what we can come up with some images that are going to promote next year, starting now, and or making criminals watch episodes of Mrs. Brown's Boys. That's what we'll push this week. All right. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much, Andy. Good luck this week, mate.
Yeah. Not going to wish you luck, Mark, because I want to win 3-0.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty much on the cards. But anyway, good luck with this week, and we will see you next week on the Inane Campaign podcast.